Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome to Kingdom Conversations. I'm your host, Pastor Jason Hendrickson, and it is another great day for us to have a Kingdom Conversation. I hope, as we tell you every Monday, that you spent your weekend with your loved ones, with your family, and hopefully you spent some time in worship, giving God honor, because he's definitely worthy of the praise. I see some amazing people already coming in. My little brother, Leon Brown, super producer, Leon Brown. Listen, Brown, I'm so proud of you, dude. The record sounds great. There's only one thing missing on that song, Leon. Can you guess what it is, man of God? We got to connect, man. I look forward to doing some great things with my brother Leon Brown. I'm so proud of you, dog. I mean, you have come a long way, dog, and you are doing some masterful production, and I'm just proud of you, bro. So salute to you and the Pilgrim Church of Harlem. Man, I'm surrounded by Pilgrim. I'm starting to think I'm a part of Pilgrim. Amen. I love Pilgrim and just love what you guys are doing. But today, man, we are honored to have a great young man of God that is going to come in and we just going to chop it up like brothers do and have some good conversation with him behind the scene in the green room. And I'm talking about Pastor Emel Washington, and he is on fire, man. He reminds me of a young apostolic Pentecostal modern day preacher for today's time. And I want you guys to check it out. This is, I sometimes you can introduce people, but then let the people see what you're talking about for themselves. So check out Pastor E in action. I'll be right back.
I'm expecting. That's why I look different. I'm expecting. That's why my appetite has changed. I'm expecting. Hey! That's why my clothes don't fit. I'm expecting. New wardrobe. Something new. I'm expecting. I'm expecting. That's why things look different on you, because you're expecting.
Whew, that's good, man. I'm expecting. Are you expecting anything great? And what a great way to bring this man of God in. So I want everybody on Kingdom Conversations to welcome my brother. And this is going to be a great show today. So let's welcome Pastor Emel Washington to the platform. Pastor E, what's good, man?
What's going on, brother Pastor? How are you, man?
Man, listen, man. Thank you for coming today. And I got one thing to tell you. I'm expecting. That's good, man. That's good. So what's going on with you, man? Please tell our audience who you are. Just give us some information about yourself and what you got going on, man.
I am Emel Washington. I'm from Brooklyn, married to Melissa. Shout out to my wife. I know she's watching. We have 4 children: Ethan, Evan, Ellie, Eva. Ethan, Evan, yeah, that's them. I am currently serving as the youth pastor, children pastor, and recently I was ordained 2019 to be the executive pastor, ruling elder at Pilgrim Church. So, yeah, I'm also the founder of a little company that just launched last year called ePowerment LLC, which is like a streaming platform. We do podcasts and YouTube interviews and all types of stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm around. The most important part is I love God and serving, man. That's who I am.
That's what's up, man. So you've been at Pilgrim for quite some time. And I think that's so important because we see a lot of gifted people in the kingdom that don't understand timing, that don't understand process and servanthood. So I want you to touch on all three of those things: timing, process, and servanthood, because you didn't just become a ruling elder. You went through the ranks. And anybody that knows Pilgrim know Pilgrim is known in our city for structure and order. So I know you didn't just get where you're at. You paid some dues.
Yeah, so I've been there since I was 10. I'm 34, just turned 34 in September. So I've been there for over 20 years. I have spent my entire adult life there, all my teen life. I served on the children's choir, youth choir, directed the choir for a little while. I was one of the youngest finance committee members. I was a trustee. Then I worked for the church when I was a young kid. I worked for the church at 13. I worked for the church. I did the grounds. This is what I tell my young people all the time. It's so funny that I just talked about it yesterday. Was I started with doing the grounds of the church, washing the windows, vacuuming the carpets, polishing the brass. That's where I started.
Wow.
So I have access to platform right now, but before there was platform, there was my process. So I was sitting under Archbishop, sitting under Bishop Crow, and just learning. And I think that's so important that we understand that unless you are able to serve, you don't have permission to leave. So
Whoa. Wait, Pastor E. You can't drop nuggets like that and just run with it. Say that one more time.
Unless you're able to serve, you don't have permission to leave. Like that's the foundation of who I am, was my servitude. I love serving God. I always wanted to be in the house of God. I thought it was so strange while everybody else was going out and going to the movies and doing all types of stuff. I love to just sit in the house of God, and nothing super deep. I just like to be around the structure. I love to watch Pastor at the time, just as the executive pastor. I love to watch her work. I love to be around Bishop. We would just be sitting. He would hop up and say, "Let's go get some plants." We would go get 100 plants to decorate the church. I just loved driving with him. I loved being with him. I loved being around the kingdom. And it really laid the foundation for who I am right now.
Let me tell you something, man. You grew up, and it's amazing. We come from good stock. You come from under Archbishop Roy Brown. I come from Bishop Perry Lindsay from Glorious Church of God in Christ. Him and Bishop Brown were good friends.
Yes, sir.
And the thing about Bishop Roy Brown, Archbishop Roy Brown, is he never did anything small.
No,
he did everything in gala style. And Dr. Stuart Green took me down to the basement the other day, and I thought I died and went to pulpit chair heaven. I have never seen. He said, "Yo, Bishop," he would only buy stuff by the dozen. He wouldn't go and say, "Give me 2 chairs." He said, "Give me a dozen. Give me 5 dozen." Man, it is so many executive pulpit chairs. I stood there. I was in awe. I was like I heard music behind me. I'm standing there like, yo, this is crazy. But Bishop Brown, and I got a lot of friends that grew up in Pilgrim. I'm friends with Stanley, everybody, and they would tell me Bishop Brown would walk in and be like, let's change the pulpit today. Let's move something around. And that spirit of excellence still lingers even in that building, man. I'm actually reaping benefits from being in the Renaissance, because a lot of people on Sundays, they come by and they think it's Pilgrim, and I just go with it. I'm like, yep, come on in. Come on in. We the assemblies. Come on in here. Amen. And when they get in the service, man, they're blessed. And a lot of them stayed, man. Some of them had joined our church. Wow. And so it's a blessing to be able to reap the benefits of the oil of Bishop Brown. Because I tell you, man, the last conversation I had with Bishop Brown was at Pastor Jarrell Solomon's mom's funeral. And if you remember,
that's the day before he passed.
Yeah, the day before he passed away. And if you remember, everybody in the church stood on line to talk to Bishop. Yes. And myself, and this was so crazy, myself, Bishop Zebedee Doughton, and overseer Sean Mason, we stood there in that sanctuary and waited for everybody to talk to Bishop. And when everybody left, it was me, Bishop, Archbishop Brown, Bishop Doughton, Mason, and Bishop Figueroa came in at the end, and Bishop Brown gave a word to every last one of us. And he looked at me and he said, you that boy that's over there on Nostrand Avenue.
Wow.
I heard some good things about you. He said, I'm going to tell you this. Whatever you do, don't quit. Don't quit. That was the last thing Bishop Roy Brown said to me. And the next day he passed away.
Whoa.
So that was powerful for me, man.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. Bishop had a way of seeing people even when we didn't see ourselves. One of the first times I had to minister, I was like, I don't know, for some this year Bishop did a thing where he did layman Good Friday, 7 words, and I got expected to do one of those, and the word he gave me was I thirst. And we all ministered, we did our thing, and God he moved in such an unusual way. But whatever, we moved forward and moved out, got dressed, we're leaving. One of his adjutants was running behind me as I'm trying to leave the building. He's like, Bishop wants to see you. So I'm like, well, Bishop's about to rip me, tell me I didn't feel like this is going to be.
Because he would do it. He would do it.
Absolutely get up and tell you. But by the time I got to him, he asked me to kneel in front of him. And this moment still gives me goosebumps. He put his hand on the top of my head. And he said to me, I knew that was in you. This is just the beginning. And from that day till now, he unlocked the preacher in me. We sat at a conference table one time and he said, son, how do you know how to preach like that? I was like, Bishop, are you kidding me? You taught me. I've watched you since I was a kid. Like it's you. You're my example. You're my mentor. And he just started crying. He said, I love you. He said, stay faithful to God. Continue to do it for God and not for people, and you'll be fine. And I live by that word.
Being that we both served under giant, I mean, these guys, Bishop Lindsay had churches. Last I counted, he had 66 churches before he died. Bishop Brown had churches all over the place.
All over there.
What do you think? I'll ask you, then I'll tag team after you answer. What do you think is the difference between that generation of leadership and the generation of leadership that we see now? What's some of the differences that you see?
I think that I'll say this will be one of the things. I think that we don't work enough together. Where you could always catch them, our bishops were best friends, right? You could always catch them doing services together.
Yeah.
Out in the country together, doing revivals together.
Right.
I would say I don't think we do enough of that now. Because everybody needs to be individual, everybody needs to have their own following, everybody wants to be popular at the same time. I think that we could benefit a lot from connecting ministries, right? Knowing that let's do something together. Let's come together and do a service. Let's come together and figure out how we can do this. I don't believe there's enough working together. And that's something Bishop Figueroa, Bishop Jameson, my bishop, these bishops grew up together, Bishop Rogers, and they had revivals together. They worked the city together. I think that one of the biggest issues we have is we're not as friendly as we could be to each other. We're not working together.
Why do you think that is? Because one of the things, like I'm probably one of, I don't know, too many pastors that have a connection with the older guys and the younger guys, and there's no friction. I know for me, I take pride in that I'm able to sit down with the Bishop Figueroas, Bishop Jameson, invite them in, but I can sit down with you guys, Vincent Bohannon and the younger pastors coming up as well. And it's nothing. It's like we genuinely are cool. We genuinely like each other. It's no, he think he da, da, da. And if it is, I'm unaware of it. But I don't see the cause for such a separation in the generation. And that's one of the burdens.
Do you see that there is a separation?
I hear about it, but I don't see it. You know what I mean? Because I don't participate in a lot of negativity and a lot of negative conversation concerning other leaders. I'm really careful about that. The older I get, the more I shy away from just negativity, period. So I don't see it. And, you know, when you're busy, like we're busy doing what God called you to do, you really don't have time to be involved with a lot of foolishness. But, you know, I hear about it. And sometimes I'm looking at the guys that's talking like, what are you talking about? Like, what?
It's
What?
not your experience.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. So, you know, I'm praying, because this is one of the burdens on my heart, to connect the generations, to connect, because it's not about us, it's about the body. You know what I mean? And if we don't do what you were talking about earlier, coming together, the body suffers. Not just my ego or your ego, the body suffers.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think mentorship is so key in this season. And we talk about a lot. We talk about mentorship, Elijah, Elisha, Moses, and Joshua. Those are great examples of good mentorship. But there are some examples of not so good mentorship. Saul and David is a form of mentorship. And sometimes it's almost like not, I wouldn't say intimidated. I would say it's just when we don't understand the way of David. As Saul, my initial reaction is to resist the new way of David. You know what I mean? It's nothing personal. I think a lot of times we feel like if there's a David, there can't be a Saul. But do we ever take a moment to realize, what if Saul would have worked with David? What if Saul would have actually mentored David?
Right.
Scriptures that really, and we talk about it all the time in my youth department is when David's trying to help Saul, he's playing away the spirits that are tormenting Saul, and Saul throws a javelin at him. I think that's sort of the feeling that we have now in this generation is we do want to be a help, but sometimes they may feel that because you don't understand the way we're going to help, right? It might be a different way. If you guys watch Pilgrim now, we're not the same church we were 30 years ago. Same oil, but things have to evolve with time. We're not compromising, but we have to be relevant. The church must always be relevant. The church has got to be relevant. If we're not a relevant church, what it says to the world is our God doesn't adapt. But if God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore, but he doesn't change, that means that he had to adapt it throughout the time.
I want to give you some pushback on that.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Absolutely.
Because I think the direct opposite. I don't think the church should chase relevance. Here's why. Because if we are who Jesus said we are, which is the salt of the earth, salt is more powerful than relevance. Because if you have a bowl of what's cool, the culture dictates to us how we should do service. And we've even compromised in that, whether we believe it or not. Because when we grew up, you know, there was no such thing as a 90-minute service.
No.
But now we as leaders understand we cannot have 4-hour services no more.
Do you think that's compromise, that's chasing, or are you using a new type of wisdom?
It's a new type of wisdom, but let me tell you, tell you what I'm saying. Because when you are salt, here's the things, 3 things that should happen. And it should happen with us as believers. Anything that salt touches, it preserves, it saves. So when I, as a preacher, a Christian, come into a situation, people should be preserved, saved. The second thing that salt does, if you give anybody anything with salt on it, it creates a thirst. You become thirsty when you eat something salty. So when people come into contact with the church, there should be a thirst for Jesus Christ. And what has happened before the pandemic, people were building monuments unto themselves instead of ministries unto God. That's why the pandemic had to happen for the church. God had to wreck that whole system. He had to destroy it because we were going crazy, lifting up ourselves and, saying, okay, I'm going to do 30 days of birthday services for me. And we evicted God out of his own house. You know what I'm saying? So thirst, salt creates thirst. It perseveres. It preserves. And it also does something that we need to always make sure that we're doing as salt. It creates a new level of consciousness, because if you got a paper cut on you and you don't feel it, let some salt get on it. You're going to be like, whoa, it brings a level of awareness to an area in your life that needs healing. That's what we're supposed to do as the church. But you look at the church, we have allowed the culture, and it's just not church, it's just period. We allow culture to tell us what's cool, how to dress, how to wear our hair. We're not dictating. So I wouldn't say compromise. I just think that we have to reposition ourselves, because chasing relevance downplays who we are when we should actually be the ones that's taking over.
Yeah, I hear you. And you know, that's one thing about salt too. Is interesting is we are called to be the salt of the earth, but every house has a different salt shaker.
Absolutely.
So the way
That's good.
salt is handled is different.
Yeah.
And I don't believe the churches chase it. If I want to, and this is Jarrell Solomon's thing, right? He's going to text me after this. You know,
that's our brother.
With
we
jeans
can talk about him.
Right? What if it's not a compromise that I wear jeans in the pulpit? What if I just like wearing jeans in the pulpit?
Yeah.
What if I'm not chasing culture? What if that's just what I like to preach? Why is it that because it's not what someone before me wore, why does it have to be that I'm adapting to culture? Why can't
I don't think the attire is what I'm really talking about. Because I don't wear suits anymore. What I have on is what I preach in. You know, I don't do this. I felt so crazy. I had to do a funeral the other day, and they told me I had to wear a suit. I couldn't find one. I was like, yo, I had to go buy a black suit because I preach in sweatsuits. I preach in jeans and t-shirts every Sunday. Because when I first started my church, Pastor E, God told me not to dress up. And my bishop, big shout out to my bishop, Darrell Hill, he hated it.
I was going to ask, how were you received with that being what God
told? Man, I was the rebel. I was the rebel of our fellowship. But I told my bishop, I said, man, just please let me show you what God gave me. And he was gracious enough to back up. He didn't like it. He still don't. Because he still don't like it. But he has witnessed the growth in the formula that I use, because I am not called to pastor the normal church person. I'm called to pastor the cats from the hood.
But Pastor, you know what's so crazy? What you just said is those are the people that were left out.
Yeah.
And those are the people that we the church people in our churches, they know church already.
Yeah.
But what we're not doing is reaching out to the people who don't know God, who are not interested in knowing our church politics, our church protocols,
yes.
How we sit. They just want to know God. They just want to know. I know that God's concerned about the things that I'm doing, but is there a way that He still loves me? And that needs to be the center of ministry, is the love of God. And I'm a witness that there are some things about me that God shouldn't like, but it doesn't stop Him from loving me.
Yes.
Right? And that's the message of Christ, that I love you so much that let me give you proof. I'll stretch myself on the cross.
Yeah.
I'll bleed for you.
Yeah.
And that's not to get super religious, but that thing centers me, Pastor.
Yeah.
I understand, man, this God loved me so much that He made sacrifice. The problem with most of us in these abusive relationships is there's no proof that they love us. Right? There's no proof. God provided the ultimate proof that He loves us.
Love is identified by two words: intent and extent.
I love it.
The intent, when I say, yo, Pastor E, I love you, is for me to have you believe what I say. But the extent is how far am I willing to go to prove to Pastor E that you are my brother. You're somebody that I love. And that's what we find in the love of God. So that's how I gauge when people say that they love me. I look at the intent, which is for me to believe it, but I watch the extent. How far are you willing to go?
Good. That's good.
We need evidence, man. We need proof. And that's what the people outside the church are looking for.
Yes,
they don't care. And I have nothing against, the decorum and, you know, the civic attire. They don't care nothing about that. They want to know, is this a place where I can come and not be judged and be loved and encounter the authentic power of God that's really going to change me? That's what we have to start presenting.
That's different from being accepted. The world's not trying to be accepted by the church. They're trying to be loved by our God.
Yes.
That's the difference. Everybody's like, oh, that means you want to accept anything. No. I want you to know that God loves you in spite of everything.
Yeah. Yes,
not
sir.
that He accepts everything, but He loves you in spite of everything.
Yes, sir.
That's so good. That's key, Pastor.
I'm gonna really push you this afternoon, because we're living in a generation where we have to minister to all types of people from all different lifestyles, all different preferences. And I want to ask you, am I off with how I, as a pastor, made a decision to minister to people? I'll tell you a story. When I first started pastoring, I had a lesbian couple that joined my church. I didn't know they were lesbian at the time. And they were bringing a lot of people with them. They were bringing a lot of visitors. And they were great tithers. And I didn't know that they were together as a couple. I didn't know these two young were married until one day when I was doing offering, and the young people in my church heard them refer to each other as the wife. That's my wife. That's wife. And so when they came to me, Pastor E, I brought them young ladies in my office and I ripped them a new one. I was like, let me tell y'all something. I will never acknowledge you as no married couple in this church. I just went off, totally destroyed these girls in ignorance, not understanding that was a moment for me to introduce the real love of God. And from that moment on, I've made a decision to pastor people. I don't want you to make me accept how you've labeled yourself. If you are a gay man, gay woman, straight, whoever you are, my job is to push you and preach to you as a human being, number one, that needs to know the love of God, number two, and to give you the gospel of Jesus Christ, because the gospel is the only thing that will change people. Not me getting up, browbeating you, embarrassing you, and preaching on you over the pulpit and sending you to hell. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made as a pastor in my early years of pastoring. I did not understand that compassion cures more sin than condemnation.
Wow. I bet you get a lot of pushback when you say stuff like that, right?
Come on.
Do you get a lot of pushback when you say stuff?
I mean, it's I get looked at strange because, especially where I come from a strict apostolic background where you went to hell for everything, wearing red lipstick. You was Jezebel, and you had to wear French coffee stockings with white shoes and all kind of mess. I was like, Lord, loose these women and let them be free. But it's just through my private time with the Lord that I'm starting to see people like God sees them.
And that's the problem that we're having. That's where you're not off. A lot of people are off because they're not spending private time with God. You know why? Because the more private time you spend with God, the more He shows you yourself. And when He shows you yourself, you have to make adjustments. So what people do is, I won't spend time with God because then I won't see myself. And if I don't see myself, I don't have to make adjustments. On my 34th birthday, I was in Hawaii. It's on the beach. And there was
I'm coming to hang out with you, Pastor E. You going to you my kind of pastor. That's what I'm talking about.
There was so much going on in my life, and I heard God say so clearly to me on the beach, just me and my wife. He said, "This is going to be a year of adjustments. Be ready for me to show you like I've never showed you before, because you have to be able to adjust." And you have done something that should set an example for so many people. Is you spend time with God and you make adjustments.
Yeah.
How can I not pastor someone in that lifestyle, but have no problem pastoring a liar or an adulterer or someone who doesn't give, or what makes them different? And that's the thing that we gotta really get to the bottom of.
Man, and because I tell people this all the time. And you was talking about it earlier, Saul and David. Do we ever realize we say this scripture all the time, and he leads me beside the still water. And the Lord really, he showed it to me so clear as day. He said, yo, David was running from Saul when he wrote this. And David had every right to hit back at Saul, because Saul was trying to kill him over 30 times. But in the midst of him running, God leads him beside still water. And I'm like, God, there got to be something to that, because he's running for his life, but you lead him in front of a body of still water, because the only thing that you see in front of still water is you. So God was like, yo, I know what Saul is trying to do to you, but let me remind you of you real quick.
Yes,
Get
sir.
in front of this body of still water. While you thinking you should strike back, while you thinking you should do this, let me remind you of how messed up you are.
Yes, sir.
So you leave Saul to me and follow my instructions. Touch not my anointed. Do my prophet no harm. Make the adjustment. Because you got the right to swing back. But let me have a moment of self-reflecting with you.
We don't do it.
We don't do it.
Our egos, and I say this all the time, is the church is guilty of building the idols that they've told us not to worship. We are so guilty of it, because as long as you have the look of church, as long as you know when to lift your hands, you know when to worship, then what happens is you don't feel the need to reflect. There's no desire to be different.
Wow.
There's no desire to be different. It's one of the things that ache my heart is, and I tell my young leaders all the time, is I'm looking for you to self-reflect. I'm not looking for you to be perfect. I'm looking for you to be in a state of constant growth.
Yeah.
Right? It would be a shame if you were the same person you were last year. If you could fit the same clothes you fit when you were 12, when you were 22, 30, that means that there's no growth. And anything that doesn't grow is unhealthy.
Wow.
And I'm looking for a healthy relationship with God, man.
That's the thing, man. When you're challenged, and I think that's what makes great youth leaders. I think that's what makes great senior pastors. When you and that's one reason why I thank God for my bishop, because I probably still am and was a handful when I came to him over 21 years ago. I've been with Bishop Hill for 21 years now, man. And I was so arrogant, you know what I mean? Because I was gifted at a very high level. I'm coming from playing for Bishop Hez and the choir, winning Grammys, doing all that stuff. And I'm real arrogant at the time. And my pastor told me something that I still adapt this in my pastoring today. He said, I'm never going to pastor you because of your gift. Never. I'm going to pastor you because of your integrity. And right now, you have none. And broke me. The first time I preached, Pastor E, he told me I was horrible. He said, man, you ain't got no oil. You up here cliche. I said, but wait, Bishop, the people was in there jumping and shouting. And he said, yeah, that's because you've been in church long enough. You know what to say. You know how to move a crowd. But there was no anointing on you, bro. And he sat me down, Doc. And he said, you ain't preaching again until you get anointed. Never pastored me because I was gifted. And I was the first choir director. I built the praise team, all of that. And gifted to do several things, but he was never impressed with my gift. Yeah. He was very concerned with my integrity.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we have to adapt, because this generation coming up behind us and with you, y'all are way more gifted than I was. Yes. I'm looking at you preaching. I'm like, yo, this dude is a problem. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But what it does, it keeps you grounded to let you remember You ain't the only one, brother.
That's right.
You ain't the only one.
And not to lean on your gifts, because Satan was gifted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was his issue. He was so gifted. You know what I mean? So you can't lean on your gift. You lean on the presence. And you knocked it on the head where we have become so programmed that we miss the presence.
Wow. And say that again, Pastor.
We become so programmed that we miss the presence.
We miss the presence.
I think that sometimes it makes me strange, but I spend so much time with God that it's not even because I want to get anything from him. I just like to be with him. Like, really, did that make sense?
Yeah.
That sounds crazy to people, but I really just like to be with God. I really like to hear him. I really like the fact that I talk to him and he talks back. You know what I mean? I just spend that much time with God because I just like being. I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be popular. I just do want to be with God, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like this morning, Pastor, I woke up and I this is weird, man. I woke up and I felt the pressure to repent. And it wasn't that I did anything. I didn't do nothing crazy. I didn't sleep with nobody. I ain't smoke no weed. I ain't do nothing crazy. I just woke up and felt the need to be repentive today, because the more I get involved with ministry, the more God shows me the favor that he's showing me now. I'm very careful not to do anything to go against the ingredients of what's making this thing work. And so I woke up this morning, I was like, God, I'm sure I've done something. I may not remember it. I'm sure I thought something, had plans to do, but whatever it is, God, I just want to be that guy that you look at and say, he's ready for more. Yeah. Because I've learned that when you ask God for more, a lot of us think that it's just more money, more opportunity. Yeah. But when you ask God for more, you're asking for more trials, more testing, more process, more tribulations, more pain. And you're actually taking on the responsibility to be a blessing to more people, because the more God gives you, his expectation is you take what I give you and you be a blessing to somebody else. Yeah. It's not just for you. You can't take what God gives you and hoard it and keep it to yourself. So I just woke up this morning, and again, I didn't do nothing to my knowledge. I was just felt in my spirit. I was like, yo, Jay, you need to repent, bro. Yeah. Let God know that you take this favor that you're experiencing, this uncommon favor, because we're living in an uncommon season right now. Yeah, and absolutely. I'm experiencing uncommon favor. Pastor E, God took this banana pudding that I make, and I'm telling you, bro, I'm making sometimes in one day what it takes people 2 weeks to make. From banana.
Now, listen, the people from my church are on here, and they know how I feel about banana pudding. And if you ain't send your banana pudding to 628 Central, then we ain't got. Because
I'm warning you. I'm warning you, Pastor E. If you taste this, you've tried the rest. Now you need the best.
I need that, though.
I am the king of banana pudding. Nobody, I'm telling you, nobody makes a better banana pudding than Pastor J. Right, I'm talking about your grandmothers, big mother at the church, big mama at the church. That was good. They had their time, but this is my season right now.
Yeah, but we laughing, but I'm gonna need some of that banana pudding.
No, I got you, Pastor E. I got you. Seriously.
I know my church will probably go crazy. I don't play with banana. I love banana pudding. So we're going to have to work that out.
Lord, my daughter's on here testifying. Come on, baby girl, testify. She said, I haven't tasted better yet. It's really good, Dad. And I'm not paying her to say that, y'all. That's my firstborn. That's my heart. That's my twin. That's my hitter right there. That's my girl. But serious, man, I think that is so important, because when you stay in that posture of humility, yes, God will take the foolish things to confound the wise. Because, you know, before the pandemic, my calendar was stacked. I'm moving, I'm preaching here, doing concerts here, doing workshops here. And then the pandemic shut all that down. So I'm like, yo, God, I'm gonna take care of my family. I ain't worked a regular job since 2012. This is all I do. And God told, I promise you, Pastor E, God told me, start making banana pudding. And I was disobedient because I tried to make cakes first because I saw, Erica, housewife, and everybody design cakes. And I'm like, I'm gonna do that. And bro, my cakes came out terrible. Terrible. I mean, I couldn't, and my mom is a master baker. My daughter's a certified chef. I got all these great people around me that cook and bake. I couldn't find out how to get my cakes. They came out like that small. I couldn't get them to rise. They tasted great, but they looked terrible. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and obey God. And bro, I'm so glad that I did. And, I just want to encourage people because this post-pandemic church, what I'm leading to, is completely different from what we knew. And I think that anybody that tries to go back to what we were doing before 2019, you're washed. It's a wrap for you.
Yeah, people not gonna like you saying that though, Pastor. But
It's the truth.
It's absolutely.
It's the truth. It's the truth. We got this is an opportunity. I don't know if you the Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm.
Had the blowing messed up.
Yeah.
And they free game Super Mario Brothers. They remember Super Brothers. And the object of Super Mario Brothers was to different phases to rescue the princess on board 8. And she was in chains and held captive dragon, and she had fire. It was like she was in hell. Right. And your job was to rescue her. But Nintendo knew along the journey you were going to die. So they put a button on the console called reset. And when you hit the reset button, it gave you your lives back, gave you your back, let you start all again. I think that's what this pandemic was for us.
Yeah, it was a reset. It was an absolute reset. I think Bishop said it when he said it was to actually shift the attention from one generation to the next generation.
Wow.
He did that with a talk with Pastor Steve, and I think that thing really hit me. I was like, this was a time when we should have prepped everything to become a lot more transitional. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is a season where we should have made a lot of transitions. And what God did was during the pandemic is he moved a lot of people out the way. And we almost look like we're unprepared. And if you do go back to what you did before the pandemic, then you missed the purpose of the pandemic. But this was a season of reset. It absolutely was.
My brother is on here, and if we don't talk about this brand new single that y'all got out, Undefeated, Quan is going to write about us on the blog.
Hip Hop Junkie.
Hip Hop Junkie. He going to talk about us on the Hip Hop. But big shout out to my bro Quan. Me and him always messing with each other online, poking each other. But we support each other. And I'm proud of Quan, what he's doing, man. He's becoming the go-to guy in that area. So that's dope. So y'all got a brand new single out. Undefeated.
Talk to me about it, Pastor. Right now. Stream it right now. Big June and Will Gamble and the worship leader at our church. He's one of the most anointed dudes. His name is Adrian Morrison and his entire team. They bust out the single. It is amazing. It is amazing. He is such a writer. He's only, I believe, 22 years old. He's a writer like you wouldn't believe.
Wow.
So the single is out. It's out. It's been streaming really well. Please go out. It's called Undefeated. Pilgrim Fresh Fire. Pilgrim Church is putting out music. Harlem just put out music, and it's just what we do. We're getting back to doing what we do.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day with Kathy Hutchinson and all them, y'all was putting out, major heat.
Yeah.
With Reggie and all those guys. Y'all had some great songs, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I listened to Undefeated, and I was just like, this is hot. It's just something missing. I couldn't put my finger on it, Pastor. I was like, what is missing? What you think is missing, Pastor E? Come on, you flow in the prophetic. Come on, man of God.
We got you in the next project because we actually working on the whole album. We want it to be out by January, hopefully.
Oh, listen, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. This young guy he's such a writer. I'm just excited about it. I'm excited about it, man.
Yo, Adrian is really dope. I ain't gonna.
Yeah, he really is. He
really dope.
He's a quiet guy, but there's so much oil in him, and I'm so excited to see what God takes him.
That's great, man.
He's mentoring his team, and it's just amazing, man. God is doing some amazing things. Just when you thought God forgot about you, you start to produce something new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would even encourage somebody with that. God has not forgotten you. He's preparing you to produce. Sometimes that's what the waiting season is. It's just your preparation to produce. Like you're going to produce again. It's going to be good, man.
And we have to learn to appreciate the waiting. It's heavy, but it's worth it, you know, because in your process is where your character is developed, when you learn how to wait your turn, when you learn how to celebrate others, because those are the key ingredients to really shifting in this season. Because if you're still that guy that looks at a cat like Adrian, you know, Adrian could be my son. He's old enough to be my son, 21 years old. But instead of me looking at him as somebody I compete with, I have to now take the posture of helping to complete him. My job is not to compete. And, you know, David Caton says that to us all the time. Yo, the reason why we have the relationship we have with our younger guys is because we're not trying to compete with them. Yeah. They're supposed to be better than us. They're supposed to do more. When I look at Rich Talbot and all these guys, I'm not hating on them. I'm like, yo, bro, get them. That's supposed to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
If it doesn't, then that means we failed as the ones going before you.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Collaborate and complete them. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. So, Pastor, this is the thing that we do here in conversations. I'm going to say something, and you just give me the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready? It's going to be all right, Pastor. I don't know why everybody has that same reaction. Every one of my guests, like, Hendrickson, what you get ready to do?
Yeah, I don't know.
I promise you, we gonna be safe. All right. So I say a word, and then you give me the first thing that comes to your mind. Loyalty.
God.
Pilgrim.
Consistent.
Youth ministry.
Hard.
Hard. Giftings.
Cultivation. I don't know why, but yeah, cultivation.
Wow. It's good. Mentorship.
Missing.
Woo. Woo, that's good. I wasn't expecting. Mentorship is missing. Opportunities.
Be careful. Be careful.
My brother, he has honors, tells me every dollar is not a God dollar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's
exactly where I am with that. Every opportunity is not a good one. You know what I mean? You could be opening the door and stepping off a balcony. You know what I mean? You could be opening the door and stepping into an elevator shaft where there's no elevator. So be aware. Be aware. Opportunity is a tricky thing.
Wow. Wow. Last one I'm going to give you is let's make it a good one. The New York Knicks.
I don't watch sports.
What?
At all. Like not.
Come on, Pastor.
Pastor at all. My wife loves everything. I don't watch. I'm a movie guy. Like I went to New York Film Academy for acting, producing. I write plays. That's like entertainment is my thing. I don't know nothing about sports. New York Knicks. Patrick Ewing.
That was like 30 years ago, man. Man, listen, I thought you was a Knicks fan because I was getting ready to jump all over you, Doc, and do some good trash talking. But there that go. I was setting you up for a good 1-2.
They're winning now, right?
I don't care if they winning. The Knicks are the worst. They ain't been good since Bernard King. And Bernard King, you probably don't even know who Bernard King was.
No idea who that is.
Bernard King he was the last. That was the year I was born, 73. That was the year the Knicks won the championship. And that's when they used to wear the high shorts with the tube socks pulled all the way up to the kneecaps. They ain't been right since. You know what we need to do, Pastor? Me and you need to go do anybody that goes to the Knicks, their goes in the toilet. It's terrible. Oh God, they gotta be the worst team. And you know what? I used to be a hardcore Knicks fan, bro. But they play cardiac basketball. They make some dumb decisions administratively, which can ruin your organization. And we need to take that and we can flip that into what we're doing. You gotta have, I don't care how good of a preacher you are. If you don't have the right administrative team.
Yeah. I say it all the time. Is even the most anointed people, they need a container. You need a structure. If your oil is not structured, it's a mess. It goes everywhere.
It just spills all over the place.
It's everywhere. It's just
ruined stuff.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
yeah,
man. Terrible. Pastor, I have enjoyed kicking it with you, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Can I tell you something, man? You are 10 times more cooler than I thought you were.
Oh, man, I appreciate that, bro.
You know why? Because every time I see you, you be like, what's up, man? You just real serious. I'm like, yo, what's this guy's story, man? But you know what? That's why it's never a good thing to judge a book by its cover.
That's true.
You're all right with me, brother.
That's true. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on, for real.
Yeah, man. I hope that this is the start of not convention talk, because I hate that convention talk. We don't ever have to come preach at each other's churches. Let's just stay connected, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Let's just stay connected, because that's the thing that the world needs to see, and the church needs to see, that there are really leaders that are not in competition against one another.
Yeah.
That, really, really look out for each other, push each other. And I'm telling you, man, as long as you got Quan in your corner,
that's my God, man.
Listen to me. I bother Quan a lot. I mess with him a whole lot because I just think he's really dope. And if I bother you, that's because I think there's something to you. If I don't say nothing to you, you ain't doing nothing. I'm always bothering Quan, like, yo, let me hear what you got, man. Let me hear your music. Let me that, because I know he got some amazing stuff cooking. So you on my list now, Pastor E. I'm gonna be like, yo, Pastor E, what's good? What you got cooking?
I appreciate it, man. I'm here. I'm around, man. I try to keep to myself, and I try to live a more balanced life with my wife and my children. But I'm around, bro, and I'm here. And thank you for inviting me, for real.
Man, listen, this is not the last time. Like I told you, Pastor E is our next to last guest. My brother Mouse Jones is coming through on the next show, and that's gonna be crazy. Mouse is out there killing the game right now.
Mouse is an interesting character, man.
Oh man, listen, that's gonna be. I may have to bring you back for that, Pastor E, to help keep it structured. I'm on my own, right? Thanks, bro. Thanks for having my back. Nah, but it's gonna be good. Mouse is a good brother, and that's my dude. So I'm looking forward to having a conversation with him. But Pastor, if anybody wants to connect with you, anybody wants to connect with the church, please tell them about the single one more time, where they can get it, how they can get in contact with you, because you're somebody that people need to hear, people need to know. Give us that information.
The single is out. It's called Undefeated, Pilgrim, Fresh Fire. It's on all streaming platforms right now. I'm on Instagram, Emel_0928. Please follow me. Let's connect. I'm on Facebook, Emel Washington. My business is Empowerment LLC. We're on YouTube, Instagram. We do motivational quotes and We do videos. My podcast just launched. Yo, please subscribe to the podcast. It's called Empower Me. You can just go to the search wherever you get your podcast. I'm there. Just put empowerment, and it'll come right up. Follow us, subscribe to us. I'm around, man. I want love to connect with anyone. So thank you.
That's what's up. So big shout out to all my family at Pilgrim, Bishop Deborah Crow, and everybody, Stanley Brown, everybody over at Pilgrim Quan, Pastor E. We love you guys and we appreciate you. Thank you for coming through, man. This was a really dope conversation.
No problem, bro.
And we look forward to some more great things. And I'm gonna hold you to that, man. I want to come play tambourine on the next single.
No, you should hold me to the bringing me banana pudding.
Yes, we got that. We got to put that down. I'm putting it.
Yeah, all that God stuff was nice, but I need the banana pudding.
You need the banana pudding. We got you. I'm gonna send you and tell me which one, because I make it. I'm gonna tell you something. I make it with the regular vanilla wafers. Then I make it with the Chessman cookies.
Yeah, I heard about that new one. Let me try the Chessman one.
Let me tell you something. The glory's in that one, Pat. I mean, it's in both of them, but them Chessman cookies is just over the top, Reverend. It's something. But we got you. We gonna bring some. When does the podcast come on?
Every Wednesday we drop new episodes. Every Wednesday. I did a one recently. I talked about suicide. We talked about just faith, and it's just all types of topics. So yeah, subscribe. Empower Me. The business is Empowerment LLC.
All right, everybody. My boy, Pastor Emel Washington. Thank you so much, man. We're gonna talk to you soon, brother. All right.
All right.
Appreciate you, bro. God bless, man. Yo, that was Pastor Emel Washington. Great conversation. Y'all that's asking where y'all can get the banana pudding from, y'all can hit me up. We do deliveries. But I am in a couple of restaurants right now. The one that's open, you can get it at Sally's right here in Brooklyn on Willoughby and Tompkins, 151 Willoughby, right on the corner of Tompkins Avenue. You can get it there. They're open 7 days a week now. They were only open about 4 days, but business, thank you, Jesus, is now growing, and we are open 7 days a week. You can get the banana pudding right there 7 days a week. And I want you guys to put in your orders now. I'm doing banana puddings for the holidays, for Thanksgiving. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Seriously, it's really good. You guys are going to enjoy it. But thanks so much to my brother Quan Williams for making this connection with me and Pastor E. He told me, he said, man, you got to connect with him, Jay. And I'm really glad that I listened, because Pastor E is a good brother. And to everybody in the chat room, I saw Letitia, Kirsten, Adrian. What's up, Adrian? There, yeah. Kara, Kelly, Dr. Knight. I see everybody in there. Ali Sales. I see my daughter, Akira. I love you so much, Akira. My baby girl, my firstborn. I love you so much. My brother, Leon Brown, Sandy Heinzman, my brother, Russell Bland. What's up, Bland? How you doing, man? Great people. Krista Bryant. Everybody. Nessie Small, one of my new members. She just joined our church. I love you, sis. When I get off, I'm actually going to ship your order to you right now. So you should have it in the next day or so. But guys, thank you for tuning in to Kingdom Conversations. This has been a great show. And I'm just excited about what God is doing in all of us. And please remember, guys, that the reset button has been hit for all of us. And there's nobody that can stop you from becoming who you're supposed to become but you. You are the greatest hindrance to yourself. Nobody, not the devil, not your mama, your daddy, your uncle, not the people at the church, not the people at the job. The only person that has power to stop you is you. And we want you to understand that God has something great in store for you. My brother, Deacon Eric Parker, is somebody. You hear me? I would not dare have Deacon Parker. He takes some of the best off-guard photos that I have in my portfolio. A lot of the amazing pictures that I post are from that man of God. I can be somewhere and not even know Deacon Parker is taking pictures, and he'll just send it to me. Yo, Pastor, check this out. And I'll just be looking like a whole snack. Y'all not saying nothing in the picture. I'm just serious. No, but Deacon Parker takes some great pictures, and I love him. And I thank God for you. I thank God for your healing, man. I really thank God for your healing, bro, that God is doing it. And listen, we're gonna get past all this stuff that we're dealing with, guys, and we have a great future in front of us. Hold on to God and remember that this is your season and your time. I love you, man. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Blessings, Brother Ross, Dr. Ross. I see you. And to everybody coming in, make sure you catch the replay tonight at 7:30. Me and Pastor E will be back on tonight at 7:30. And everybody, please get you some All Things. Y'all see this? Y'all see the drip. Get you some of this. I got stuff for everybody, for women, men, children. I even got some dog hoodies. If you got little dogs, I'm making hoodies for the dogs next. We doing something for everybody. Get you some All Things apparel. Get my new single that's out, My Longing. Go watch our new video that's on YouTube, My Longing. It's a beautiful video. It takes you right to the feet of Jesus. I promise you it does. And we want to make sure we're supporting Pilgrim with Undefeated, and Pilgrim of Harlem got a new single out. I forgot the name of it, but it's produced by my brother Leon Brown. If anybody from Pilgrim can give me the name of that real quick before we log off, I want to support those that support me. Leon Brown did a great job. I need to know the name of that single real quick. But if you put in Pilgrim of Harlem and go to their page, I'm sure they got flyers and advertisement about that. But everybody enjoy the rest of your evening, and remember that this is your season and it's your time. Kingdom Conversations. Don't miss our next episode. We're already done. That's it. Already done. And let me tell you something. Put your dancing shoes on. Put your dancing shoes on. It's a good record. And it's something to uplift your spirit, man, because we've been hearing so much bad news and so many sad things happening. Let's start listening to some uplifting music. And Pilgrim, Jay Hen, Pastor Vincent Bohannon, all the New York artists, Bishop Hezekiah Walker, everybody's putting out great music. I'm ordering a sweatshirt this week from you. I'll text you. Okay, Deke, no problem. You know I got you. But everybody, just stay blessed, and above all, stay safe. And I'll catch you next time on Kingdom Conversations.